Whale, your regular fix for movies and mayhem. Episode 45. We discuss Euro final, Trump shooting, 3 big horrors in the cinema this week, and video games. Hope you enjoy the episode.
Before we start, I was just going to say a thank you to Drew, because even though he wasn't available last week for the episodes, he did all the cool videos for the intros that you'll have seen online and on Spotify and YouTube. And
I'd like to thank the London Metropolitan Police for letting him out later on that evening, and he was found not guilty.
Thank you.
That was good. That was good. And yeah, and I do like this week's one with the Beverly Hills Cop with the helicopter, and me and James holding the badges.
Yeah, you guys look cool, man. You look badass.
Not gonna lie, I haven't seen it.
That was sick. It was out today.
You both
You've been working.
Axel F's. You're
Yeah.
a bunch of
I only had
Axel
a
F.
half day. I took a half day because I was expecting to be hungover from the football, but that went disastrous.
You can Axel off.
You know what? I live in a semi, but I can't really hear my neighbours.
You live
very
with a
much.
semi? That must be hard to get your trousers on all the time.
So on one side of the house, like my previous house was in a terrace, and I could hear everyone coughing, moving, talking, even
Is that
low
COVID?
talking, doing my head in. No, when I was in London. This house is a semi. I cannot. They've got 3 kids. They always have friends and neighbours over. I can't hear a thing. It's so quiet. It's brilliant. But the first time I've heard them in ages is that I looked at my phone and I was like, "Oh, the football's on." Wasn't that ball?
Palmer scoring probably.
We were watching something else, and then we heard, and I was like, "Oh, football! England must have let in a goal." It was like, "Yep, 1-0 to Spain." Then you heard, "Well," I was like,
yeah, we went a bit nuts. We were like jumping around, hugging
we
each
went
other
mental
and
when
stuff.
Palmer scored.
And then as soon as it ended, because they scored the last goal right at the end, and then it ended.
And then England almost scored with 2 shots cleared off the line with seconds to
With
go.
the guy
You couldn't write it.
And my neighbours started partying. They were like, "Oh, and then they started putting on stupid music like
We all got grumpy and went home at half 10.
Mate, that was crazy though.
We
how
turned it
unlucky
off. Ended up
England were. If you think how lucky we were to get to the final anyway,
Yeah, but
and then
think
our
about
luck,
this. We got in a grump, turned it off, put on Wimbledon, and that had Alcaraz, another Spaniard, winning that. So we were just like, right, just turn the telly
Spain
off.
had a good day. Spain had a very good day. But the thing was when we had, I think it was the corner, we headed it. The goalkeeper knocked it out. The Spanish keeper knocked it out. Then we headed it again, and it would have gone in. But the fucking Spanish player headed it back out of the fucking goal.
Unbelievable.
So it was a perfect example.
From what I hear, I didn't watch any game. From what I hear, England shouldn't have even got that far. They were pretty boring and
well, no, like we played really well. I think the thing is, with our standard way of kind of checking ourselves and just taking too long to make decisions, the other teams we played against almost gave us a bit more room, whereas Spain weren't giving us any room, to do any of our passing.
They were the better team.
And they closed us down. But the fact that they had over 10 corners, it just shows that they were a much more advanced team. And they didn't get there by fluke. Do you know what I mean? So it's like...
Yeah, I know Spain are good, that's for sure. But I was surprised that England got as far as they did.
Yeah, but also I think we've got to say, we did very well, though, because if that was any other team, that might have been 4-0. Do you know what I mean? But the fact
I saw a little thing online, just one of those meme word, whatever things. And it said about England, and it said... England are very boring in this competition, but don't dare score a goal against them. Otherwise, you'll force our world-class football players to play football for once.
Yeah.
And that's it. Apparently, every time they were crap and they went 1-0 down, England came out swinging.
And this is what I was saying to my mum and dad. I said that England have become Raging Bull. So I don't know if you know that film well, but De Niro,
he gets hit, to get angry.
He has to take a serious beating before he can win the fight. And I'm like,
knacker the other team out.
Yeah. So, yeah. But I was proud of them. Look, I was really proud of them. And I think
well done for getting that far.
They created a lot of beautiful memories. I will have such great memories of this year, of the Euro 2024, because of some of the things they managed to do, which was, beautiful memories.
And on a side note, Drew, how's your... If you don't mind discussing it on the pod, you don't have to. You can just say no. But how's the move and the potential move going? Sorted your place?
It's a funny one, man, because it's all a bit up in the air. Because the funniest thing was in my interview, we were talking about. They were saying, "Oh, can you give us experience from previous job?" And all these different things. And I said, well, can I be a little bit abstract? So they're talking about obscure things you've had to overcome. And I was saying the idea that I live in Hampshire, but I'm trying to find work in Brighton whilst trying to find a home in Brighton. And it's like just juggling a multitude of things right now. But it's quite a surreal place to be in. But then the irony is that one of the managers that was interviewing me, he's like, I live in London. I'm like, dude, what are you doing in Brighton then? He went, good question. And he just said that the actual store, he prefers the store kind of atmosphere and camaraderie. And so he's happy to do the commute from London.
It depends where he is in London. It's not that far on a train, really, time-wise.
Well, yeah, but also I said to him, I said, dude, like you work for Apple, man. So it's like there's so many different companies, so many different branches in Apple. You could literally just jump on a little scooter and go straight to work. Why would you, pay all this money to go to Brighton? And he just explained that it was just a better fit, and he just prefers it there. So
that's lies. If he's the manager, he would have got paid a bonus to go to a different store. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gone.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
That's the truth.
How dare he lie to me?
No, just while we are on the, let's not just jump off the football subject yet. Can we all just salute Darwin Núñez for his actions in the Copa America? Did anyone see that?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
The Colombian fans, who are known for such things as shooting players and killing them for missing penalties, had started attacking Uruguay's friends and family box, apparently. And Darwin Núñez took issue with that. People going near his family, he ran up into the crowd and started beating the shit out of people.
Wow.
He's up in the fans winging punches. He's a nut.
Wow.
It's something to watch. Just watch Darwin Núñez fight. He just goes mad for it.
Protect your family at all costs.
Like Fight Club.
Fantastic.
Fight Club in a football ring.
And how can we move on to movies until we have mentioned the news of the yesterday, Trump?
Yeah.
That's one in the election.
That's the most annoying thing, is that it's going to gather support for him for being pretty badass, to be fair, and getting up 20 seconds later and pumping his fists and that. I hate the guy. I've joked about he should get assassinated, like, George Bush should have got assassinated and other people should have as well.
But got up like savage. He was like, where are my shoes? How did shoes fall off?
Where are my shoes? Did you see people were making funny memes though? There's one where he's holding up a bottle of ketchup because they're saying it's like to make himself look like a hero.
The thing is, to me, is yes, some people are saying it was staged, but listen to this, right? If that was staged, the person that took that shot must have been the greatest shooter in the history of anyone that's ever lived to take the risk of skimming the president's ear.
I've never even thought or considered it be a thing. But again, if you want to go down the conspiracy route, and I don't think it is, I think someone tried to shoot him.
And some wacky kid didn't know what he was doing.
Well, no, he was. Did you see the video footage of the people at the back of the crowd? You couldn't even see the stage. It was so far.
Yeah, it was very misleading because when it showed it initially, Trump's here and the people were here.
Minutes. They were shouting to the police, he's up there. There's some
if you look from the front of it, it looks like everyone was going, oh, well, how's no one else injured? One person did die, apparently, because it looks like from the front, everyone sat right behind him. But when you see the view from the back, the crowd are actually really far away. And they're really like down the thing.
Either. It was just, they were like...
They're not near him at all. Like, because everyone's like, oh, they're right behind him. Like, it looks like the crowd's like right here over my shoulder. But they're not in the slightest anywhere near him. But apparently one person died, one was injured.
Yeah, well, 2 people died.
Did you see the female FBI agent just like ducking for cover herself?
Yeah, well, you take it, Donald.
She was like, but how did she?
In theory, if you go down that route of conspiracy theories, it could be easy to fake because there doesn't need to be a bullet. It could literally be pop noises. Obviously, someone died, so that's not true. But it could be. In a film, there's more realistic scenes in films. So you make a pop, he could drop down.
I will say
when
for
he
me,
down that 20 seconds, it's where you make the blood stuff, and then he pops up like a hero.
To me, though, it sounded like it didn't sound like a gun going off. It sounded like BB bullets going off.
Yeah, it sounded like an air rifle.
Shit, though, in real life.
Yeah. But he could have but to make your ear bleed, you'd have to do quite a thing. When you get your ear pierced, it doesn't bleed loads. So he had it all come down his face. You have to do quite a significant cut. Yeah,
there's a makeup artist underneath that desk, and it's 20 seconds of
Yeah.
blood, up you
The
go.
most realistic thing is some stupid idiot who didn't know what they were doing, probably had mental problems, took a few pop shots and couldn't fire a gun.
I mean, he was an amazing shot. He got within an inch of killing him.
Yeah, but he took 4 shots and hit barely one. That's not an amazing
the
shot. That's
guy's
just
moving.
like
He's
someone
talking.
can't
He's
shoot.
going blue, 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 and
It's
literally,
Trump. He's not Neo from the Matrix.
and it was
He's like
just
a fat old bloke. He's just like
Did you see that
doing
meme of Neo going Trump, him doing that, dodging the bullets?
that picture of him doing that with the American flag on the background.
Like
That's
covered with
sick.
blood. The blood looked like you know when you do the war paint, it looked a bit war paint-esque.
But I do still want to know how his shoes came off.
Well, panic and just moving around. That's not really. That,
I'm sorry, but you could be panicked as anything. Why would your shoes fall off?
I think he needs to go to a new shoe shop because they're too
the
big.
makeup artist stood on
What
it.
was he wearing?
Big
Crocs?
boots. Or his,
Unless he had Crocs on or something.
I just think it was
his boots are too big
from
for
a
him.
photographer. That is one of the best documentaries.
Might be one of the greatest photos of all time.
Ever. Yeah, one of the best.
That's
ever.
up there with the Kingfisher hitting the water perfectly.
No, I'm on about like documentary. Like that. It's in line with like the kid standing in front of the tank. You know.
Oh wow! Yeah, stopping.
Shit.
That's
this
unbelievable.
is going to be
yeah.
in history books in 50
Yeah,
years.
iconic.
We're going to go.
Drew, have you ever seen the
Oh my
Kingfisher
God.
photo?
No, but I'm
Apparently
getting
it's
a
like
brilliant. I'm getting a brilliant
150,000
version of it right now with your finger.
Apparently, it's 100. It was like 100,000 shots he took over like 7 years or something stupid to get the Kingfisher perfectly hitting the water and reflection.
He's got too much time on his hands.
They're saying it's like it like got awarded like best photo of all time.
Maybe I should do that. Well, I don't have a job. Maybe I should just try and take pictures of kingfishers.
You should see the stats on it. It's ridiculous. It's like tens of thousands of shots and like hundreds of hours.
But yeah,
It's
the Trump
incredible, though,
photo
when people do
is epic.
Brilliant.
And
Can you
again,
imagine they said, Trump, can you just go back? Can you just get a bit more blood there just for the... Cheers, mate. Like, oh.
I've seen someone with a meme. They put a ketchup sachet in his hand when he's
Yeah,
like
that's
down
what
on
I
the
was-
floor.
that's what Drew said. I didn't know it was a real photo because I woke up, saw the photo, and it was a picture. It was one of those memes that say, literally any photo could be an indie band front cover, and it was
Wow.
and it was that picture of him pumping a fist, and I was like, yeah, that's a cool photo. Why is there blood? What? Who's done that? I thought someone had just photoshopped it, and then I ignored it, and it was like hours later I saw the news report. I was like, what?
Sorry to interrupt the show. Just a reminder to say we love and appreciate you all for listening to the podcast, whether it's on Spotify, Apple, or Amazon. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, follow, as this really helps us continue to progress and improve the content and keeps us making these fun episodes for you guys. Oh, we're also on these things called Instagram and TikTok. You can follow us there too, as we share short, funny reels on the reg that you can share with friends if you like. Now, back to the mayhem.
Can we also just say this comes in the same week that President Biden called Kamala Harris Donald Trump by saying the Vice President Donald Trump is more than capable of running the country, shortly followed by introducing President Zelensky, who was stood right next to him.
Oh, it's Putin.
That's Vladimir Putin.
Yeah.
And then he goes, please welcome stage President Putin, and then goes off and comes back like, Putin?
See, what's annoying is
Zelensky.
Biden. He's very good,
He's not
but
well,
he's
though.
not very good at talking.
But I
He
feel like
keeps
he's not
Biden.
well.
No, he hasn't got a clue. Every time he gets on the mic, he loses more and more people.
He's either got seriously bad stage fright or he's got like Alzheimer's.
He's got
or
dementia.
something. Yeah, dementia.
He's
yeah.
got dementia. It's so obvious. Like he's like, did you not see the video like last year when he like was seeing ghosts? Like he turns around, and he puts his hand out to shake his hand with someone. He stood there, and there's no one there.
There might be a ghost though.
He's
A
just
ghost
like
might be
this.
getting an award.
But then he said about a couple of months ago, he said about meeting in China with a Chinese leader that's been dead like 20 years.
Maybe he's doing like seances and he's actually.
Or maybe he's doing what every 85-year-old man is doing, which is just being 85 years old and shouldn't be in control of running a bath, let alone a country. We were joking at work. We were saying, oh yeah, assassination on Trump is like someone with a gun. Assassination attempt on Biden is putting a set of stairs in front of him.
Oh.
But also, Trump's got the vocabulary and grammar of a 5-year-old child.
But he's also got the articulation of someone with their head severely screwed on. Like his
Mm.
comebacks and his wit are so fast.
Yeah, he's quite fast on wit, but he's not intelligent on speaking.
Here's a question for you.
He reads off teleprompters as well.
Yeah, but so does Biden. Biden can't even read
I
that.
know,
The
but what
writing's
I'm
like
saying,
that big at this point.
if Trump says anything intelligent, it's not deliberate. And
Do you-
he always goes, yeah, very good, very good. That's all he
The
says.
thing is, though, he's a businessman who
Sorry,
knows, who
Frank
says what he
Frank
thinks.
Drew,
Do you think he writes? Do you think he writes his own tweets?
100%.
Yes.
100%. He's
Or
got
do you think
jokes.
he has someone?
They're so stupid. Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
The thing is, though, with him, though,
No one's vetting him and going, Donald, I wouldn't say that.
thing is, though, Biden's not allowed to say what he thinks. That's why he stutters so much.
Yeah,
'cause
Biden's not
he's an
allowed a
actor.
Twitter account.
Biden's an actor. Like most politicians, they're actors. They're not allowed to say what is on their mind. Whereas Trump comes out and will just say whatever he wants. And that's why he's so, like, articulate with it, because he's actually saying genuine things. He's not an actor, which is what Biden essentially is at this point. He's an actor.
Yeah, I
He's
guess
reading a
that's
script
one
that
thing I
someone else
do
has written.
respect. If there's one thing I can kind of respect about Trump, is it's his transparency. Like, he doesn't try to hide the fact that he's a bit of a buffoon. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's
Like,
pretty
can you
much.
not remember the thing with Hillary?
Hides-
When
He hides all. We're going too deep into politics. Maybe change soon.
We
But
are, yeah, we're really
does-
bad at politics.
he doesn't
and
hide
politics.
his basic opinion. Yeah, granted, but he hides all the other shit that he's doing.
True.
So
Sweepy.
they're all up to it. I'll end it on this one then. One of the funniest things he ever did was when it was him and Hillary. The first one, when she was like talking about who would be in control of prisons, and he was like, "Because you'd be in jail." And then like the second one, where she's like accusing him of like, he's like, "Oh, grabbed her by the whatever," and he's like, "It's just
But yeah,
words. It's just words." And then he brought on like 10 of Bill Clinton's accusers onto the stage. It was like, oh wow, slam dunk.
But it's more
Do you
than
want nothing?
word, though. He's actually a felon, and you know,
he
it's
shouldn't
gonna
be
play
allowed to
into
run
his.
for president. Full stop.
It's going to play into his favor, though. Like, it's going to play into his
I know.
favor.
No, that's been thrown out now. Subsequent to the shooting, that's all gone now.
Of course, it is.
That's
course it is.
bullshit. So that makes me do think it might be framed then.
But do
See?
you not know
That's
that Hillary
bullshit.
was on?
Look, listen, a felon cannot legally vote in America, yet they can be a president?
But they're all crooks. I
What?
was saying this when you were saying, when Hillary was running against him, she was under investigation by the FBI.
Yeah, I know.
Like, they're all criminals. There's just some of them aren't. Some of them, like, he just paid a hooker to be quiet. Some of the worst.
George Bush murdered a child when he was high on drugs, on marijuana, driving a car. So he was done for DUI, and they swept the murder of a child, like an adult child, like a teenager, under the carpet.
That's a bit like Caitlyn Jenner, though. Everyone forgot that Caitlyn Jenner's a murderer.
And it's well known. Like, it's like in.
Well, remember Bruce Jenner?
Yeah.
Bruce Jenner killed 2 people, turned to a woman. Everyone forgot about it. Gave him Woman of the Year.
Yeah. Well, he's definitely
Eminem
man
hasn't
of the
forgotten
year,
about
is
it.
he?
Eminem hasn't forgotten about that. That's in
It's
his
so
new
bad,
album.
doing it. Like,
I was going to say Eminem in a minute as well,
Yeah,
because
his new album is insane.
Eminem's got
He
those
calls it all.
albums that I don't really revisit very often, but I would listen to Marshall Mathers LP the other day in the car. Still brilliant.
Mate,
random
But
fact.
It's
First-
not re-
new
it's
album,
not-
though.
It's
It's
not
got great-
re-listenable. I
I
don't
like
really-
First
it.
gig I ever
It's
saw
got
live
great
was
relatability.
Eminem. First person I ever saw live was Eminem.
What?
In 2002, when it was, I think it was 2001, 2002. And
That would be Marshall Mathers.
it was the one with like all the funfair when D12 came out.
Oh,
So it
yeah,
was
Purple
50
Pills
Cent.
and all
It
that,
was at
yeah.
the Milton Keynes Bowl. It was outside. You had Tim Westwood was DJing first, and it was Cypress Hill,
Oh,
50 Cent.
Exhibit.
yeah, the Eminem Show album was out.
Yeah. Then you had D12. 50 Cent wasn't there because it was when he thought he was going to get shot.
Oh, shit.
So it was, so it was Tim Westwood, Cypress Hill, Exhibit, D12, and Eminem. And he had like a big like funfair sort of thing. He came in on Ferris wheel. It was amazing.
Marshall Mathers
Wow.
was 2000. Then Eminem Show 2002. Man,
That was it. 2002, the Eminem show.
did you understand the point of the album? I got it halfway through, but I didn't really, because he's arguing with himself, isn't he? Like, Slim Shady's the good one and is the bad guy, and Marshall Mathers is the good guy. So the first half of the album is really over the top offensive.
Yeah, it's clever.
It's really offensive.
I
And
like albums that like the
wait.
story.
Let me finish the sentence. But then Eminem butts in to himself and says, that's too much. And like, you're going to get me cancelled and as a chat. And then the second half is Marshall Mathers taking over and getting rid of Slim Shady, killing him off. So when the advertisement's saying this is career suicide, he's doing it himself. He's killing him off and becoming the good. Like one of the last songs was a song called Trouble or something. It's a really heartfelt song to his.
Oh, God, yeah, that's
his
really sad,
daughter.
yeah. Yeah,
That's
he's got
beautiful.
You
some
don't get
beautiful-
enough albums now that tell a whole story through the song. It's all
This
random
is what people are
songs. Isn't it?
saying.
Did you
It's
ever
like a
listen to The
movie.
Streets? A Grand Don't Come for Free by The Streets.
That's spoken word
Yes.
poetry.
And right at the end of it, like they break the telly or something. There's like £1,000 in cash in like the back of the telly or something stupid.
Do you remember that? Dry your eyes, mate. I
Yeah.
know you wanna take but you gotta move on.
And
It's
then Blinding
time.
Lights as well.
Yeah.
To be fair, their newer album that came out a few years ago, 2020, None of Us Are Getting Out of Here.
What,
That one's really
Streets?
good. Yeah, None of Us Are Getting Out of This Alive, 2020. Really good.
Did not know. Like the Marshall, the Can you remember when?
It's that blue looking one.
I don't know.
Really
Remember
good.
when Plan B was something, and he had his whole like
Yeah.
the Strickland Banks thing, and all the videos kind of followed a narrative.
He was in
they were
that
like
Harry
episodic.
Brown
He was
film.
in that film as well.
Harry
He's
Brown.
in the Sweeney as well, which I watched the other day.
Oh God, what was the name of the film?
Terrible
It was,
movie.
Harry Brown.
No, he was in
The
another
Sweeney.
one, man. It wasn't that. It was one that he wrote, and he was in it, and it had
Oh, that's
Riz
probably
Ahmed.
awful.
Yeah, it's not going to be a
No,
good
it was
one.
really
then, is
good.
it?
It was really well
The
done.
Sweeney's not bad. It's got Ray Winston in it. Classic.
Oh, fuck. Something. Ill Manners. That was it.
Don't know that one.
Ill Manners was brilliant. It was really good. Really well done. Really well done.
So should we chat about the films?
Oh yeah.
I've got two others, obviously, but I won't go into them. I'll mention one. We'll do it in order. I'll mention one, then we'll go into the one we all saw, and then I'll mention the one afterwards, if that's cool.
Yeah, man.
Right. So this, I'm just going to mark it so I know where to put Drew's video. So this is the movie news.
What did we watch this week? On Cinema Selection.
Okay. So for me at least, and for the general public, it was a triple horror week. And it was an exceptional one. Did any of you guys get a chance to see MaXXXine or not?
No, it's not showing near us.
Fuck, that was the best one of this week by far. In a strange way, because it's all 80s, based in 1980, and obviously
I really wanted to watch it.
I won't go too much into it because there's so many spoilers. I'm not going to mention anything, but we all know the kind of plot. But the end of X, the first film, MaXXXine gets away, and it's I think 70s where she's like an adult film star. So this is a direct sequel to that. We can ignore Pearl; that's a prequel technically. And this is MaXXXine in 1985, getting her first role in a feature film that's not adult. It's a horror film, and it is so cool. Everything about it, every scene is like slick, cool, like really cool dialogue, really cool everything. None of these horror films that we watched are actually that horror, I would have said. This was more action.
Late Night with the Devil is up here, I think.
No, just for these three films I'm on about from this week.
Oh, okay. So you meant this year.
No. MaXXXine is just, there's horror moments, and there are some graphic moments, but I mean, the serial killer in that is full on. But it's almost because the stylization's like 80s, it does feel almost not comic booky, but just fun. It's like,
Can I just bring
silly.
some up about these horror films at the moment? So obviously you had the three big ones, the triple threat, which is MaXXXine, In a Violent Nature, which has been hyped up for a long time, and one of the most hyped films of the year, Longlegs, which is not really a horror, I'd say it's more of a thriller. They have had the least screen shows than like any other program.
That's what annoys me.
Our opening weekend, or the first week of Longlegs, me and Drew went to see it on Friday, and that was its opening week.
Mm-hmm.
And it was on at 6:30 or 9 o'clock on screen 5 in Andover, which is a tiny screen, rubbish screen.
It's pretty much a basement.
And all the staff upstairs were like, "Why is it in like screen 5? You don't understand." And then you've got MaXXXine and In a Violent Nature weren't even shown. In a Violent Nature was hardly shown anywhere. Maybe like 6 Odeons or something stupid. But then you realise, from their point of view, this is probably the stupidest time to release a movie, because you've got Day One, you've got Inside Out 2, Despicable Me 4, and what's the other big one out at the moment?
Twisters on Wednesday.
But there's something else that came out last week as well.
Is it to do with kids?
What is
No,
it if you go and book
no,
a
don't mean
film
like-
now?
I don't mean like that. I mean, is it like a kid's?
Go on the Odeon thing, see if you want to book a film now. There's another big one that came
because-
out, which just basically overshone them all.
Well, what I was going to say was, we found out though from the guy that works at the Odeon that he says that 3 of the bloody screens are playing Despicable Me.
Yeah.
Would have been Kinds of Kindness. That's the only other big one out.
But do you see what I mean though? Despicable Me is taking up 3 screens.
Tell you what, this is going to be the quickest review ever. I saw
Oh, wait, no. Fly Me to the Moon was getting a lot of screen time.
I saw Despicable Me 4 on Sunday,
Sure.
and yeah, I left with
Oh,
Is it good?
What?
it
You
was
left
instantly
through?
forgettable. I mean, I didn't expect much. It's just a kids' film, but I raised a smile maybe twice. It was quite going through the motions, and I don't expect a massive intelligence from it to do something witty, but the first couple of films were funny. Like I
Yeah,
enjoyed
they were
them,
good.
and this one just didn't. There was nothing, zero.
Cash cow.
It was void of anything really.
Maybe
I
they
think the
flogged
best-
it too much then.
I didn't
The
hate
be-
it. I just have zero opinion on it. I can't even rate it 0 or 3 stars. It was just it existed. It was colourful in front of my face for a bit, and then I left.
The best thing I got
Kind of
from
how
it,
I felt about Longlegs, really.
the best thing I got from it was we saw either a dude or a dudette dressed as one of the minions upstairs in the Odeon, and I asked them and said, "Are you the one that says banana?" And then he was going, "Banana." And I was like, "Yeah, that's the one." And that just absolutely made my night. And then James came over and I was like, "Dude, you got to ask that guy to say, or whoever's inside the kind of the skin of the minion, you got to ask him to say banana. Ask them to say banana."
Can I say something? That Disney are missing the most obvious trick going to maximise their revenue, and it baffles me that they haven't twigged onto this. Apart from movies, what's the second biggest industry
Computer
on the
games.
planet? Yeah, computer games. Like, why is it? If you can get, I don't know if you've ever seen the Lego movie or the Lego animated games.
Mhm.
The graphics are exactly the same as the movie. Why can't they make a Toy Story or a Despicable Me or whatever equivalent video game? They would make a fortune if they've already got the special effects.
And
they
the
can
fan base.
translate that into a video game. Surely way easier than what it is to make someone look real. Like there's none. There's like a couple. There's like you get like Incredibles Lego games and Avengers Lego and that sort of stuff, but there's no like Despicable Me, like decent
showing off
games.
my
There's no
age
like
here,
Toy
though.
Story.
I'm showing off my age here, though. There was an amazing time, and I think it was for the Sega Mega Drive. They did the
Toy
Lion
Story.
King.
No, yeah, you are
Lion
right.
King, I
And it
remember
was
that game. Yeah,
unbelievable.
And you had to
that
jump
game,
up and rah, didn't you, to
yeah,
scare
you had
things
to
upside
rah,
down.
but you could smack them with your paw, like.
They also did a Toy Story game, which was brilliant. And even in the Mega Drive, it looked really good
Yeah,
because it was
yeah.
only meant to mimic what was on the TV, and
Yeah.
it looked really cool. Like, I don't understand why they don't make like a movie style version of these games. Maybe they do, and I've just missed them. But that to me is like a no-brainer.
Or VR as well. You could have a VR experience of like minions. You look around and they're jumping on your face. You're like, whoa,
That would be hilarious, yeah.
that would be unbelievable.
But Disney, but saying that, on the
we should
subject
patent
of
this
VR,
idea, guys. We should patent this before someone
well,
steals
just
it.
to
and
bring
then-
up a thing on VR, Disney have just invented. If you want to see the coolest thing you'll see this year, the Disney floor.
What?
Basically, Disney have made this honeycomb kind of out of little things about this big, little tiny stones that all go on the floor and make like a honeycomb effect. And they're about that thin, so no bigger than a pebble. And you can lay them all out, and you can sit on a chair or stand on them with a controller and go forwards, backwards, left, right, or you can walk and not move anywhere. It's very strange. I've seen videos of people sat on chairs going left, right, forwards, backwards, just on this really small, like almost like airbed of like a thing.
Is that a fun way to exercise for really, really lazy people?
Well, no, because you're not moving. You're doing literally nothing. Like you're sat on a chair and you're going forwards. You're moving. The
Yeah,
motion's
but
there.
you'd lose like a half a calorie or a quarter of a calorie by doing that. Oh, no?
But it's mad because you're walking on it, and like this bead is flat, and you're just walking.
That's
But I'll
mental.
send a link. But if you
Yeah, yeah.
Google the Disney floor, it doesn't
Yeah,
even make
beads.
any sense.
Share your beads with us, dude.
It's very confusing. Like, and I look at it and think it doesn't even make any sense how it works. Because some of the VR things are like a sort of big disc that kind of like rolls round, almost like a conveyor belt. But this is just beads on a floor. It's like,
That's crazy.
how's that? Unless it's air, like an air hockey thing, but it's like very confusing.
Maybe they were inspired by Home Alone, you know, where they put all the micro machines on the floor. That's
Micro Machines 96 on the Mega Drive, greatest game ever.
That was
that
so
was fucking
good.
brilliant, man. When you
So
drive
good.
along the sink and you have to dodge the soap and the
The
taps.
2 extra
and,
control ports on the cartridge.
Dodging
mate,
soap sounds dodgy, Drew.
dodging the soap. Yeah, but it was like there's a soap on the side of the sink.
Yeah,
You're driving across.
Sadie bought one of those little tiny boxes that you put a SCART cable to your HDMI cable to your
And you
computer,
Dark cable.
and you can play like the old school games. There's like
Yes.
1,000 games in there. We played Micro Machines for like an hour.
Mate,
How many
it's
times
so
you
good.
crash the aeroplanes? That's the only reason you play the aeroplane, have to crash every 2 seconds.
It was so shit. It was so difficult. I'm pretty sure it was
The-
easier when I was
The
younger.
one Drew's talking about, the soap, though, you have to wait for the soap to come forward.
Yeah,
and
it
get
was
across.
loads of
You'd
them.
be bashing
It
each
was
other, wouldn't you?
snooker
Mate,
table.
it
There
was
was
so
the
good. Though.
sink.
Do you remember the one where you drive around the bowl of soup and you could knock people into the soup?
Yeah,
One
yeah.
of the best games of all
That's the
time.
point.
And you
Is you
can play
just sit there
4-player.
and wait, because if you go too fast and they go off screen, you win.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
but
yeah.
You deliver. I used what I was doing with Sadie because I used to play it a lot, so I'd like I got
You
used to
nudge him, wouldn't you?
I got used to it quickly. So if I got too fast far ahead, I'd stop and reverse, give her time to catch up, and then I'd go bonk, drop her into something.
Such a good such a good game,
And
wasn't
then
it?
when you go
Just-
up the spoons, do you remember you
just to
drive
wind
up
her
the
up.
spoons and there's the rulers and the sharpeners
Yeah,
in the
little jump.
bedroom?
It goes boing boing
Mate.
I
boing.
remember how you put the cartridge
Yeah.
in. You could put extra 2 controllers in and
That's
have
what
like
I'm saying,
4
man. The
players.
4-player. That was sick. And you
So
could
much
plug,
fun.
you
Grand
could plug the
Theft Auto
controllers
ripped that off, basically.
into the top of the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah,
Oh, mate.
basically
that was-
One of the best games of all time.
Did any of you guys play Rock and Roller? Mate.
Isn't that a movie?
No. Well, no, it's oh man, what the hell was it called?
you've gone obscure.
No, but it was a computer game for the Sega Mega Drive. Something rock and roll.
Not a clue.
Damn it, man.
Yeah,
Damn
to
it.
have me flummox with that one, that's really something.
And you
Anyway,
can fire
I'll-
missiles and
I'll
I'm
just
gonna look it
finish.
up,
I'll
man.
just finish my what I was going to say on Maxine, then we'll go into long
Finish your
legs.
thing and yeah.
The thing,
I'm just
the thing
looking
that I
while I-
liked about Maxine is that they've got some really disgusting kills in there, which is good.
You
And
love
you
your
know how
disgusting
Kevin
kills.
Bacon's in the trailer
Yeah, covered in blood.
as like a detective stalking her. I thought he was trying to get her to help her or something, but
Yeah.
and I thought he was like the police, but no, he's like bad guy in this. He's like proper bad guy working for like the head honcho. The basic premise is basically that because she was an adult film star and she left a trail of blood behind her, she killed a couple of people, but that was survival. Everyone else got slaughtered by the murderer in the first film. In this film, it's like blackmail. It's like, we know what you did. We're going to expose you if you don't do this. And she's
Oh,
trying to
okay.
get a film career. And the director comes over to her and she's brilliant. She just goes, Maxine, whatever you got going on that's distracting you, I'd kill that this weekend so we can move
Wow.
on. And she goes, I intend to. And then
Nice.
batshit crazy happens. It's so fucking good. It's so stylish and cool. You'll both fucking love it.
I'll check it out.
Yeah,
I can't wait. I
I'm
can't wait to check it
hoping that
out.
because neither of them were at the cinema very long, they'll be on like
Streaming
Shudder or
soon.
something like really quickly.
Yeah, Maxine's still in the cinema. Mine, I rushed to see it last week, and it's still here next week.
Well,
Guys,
I started
I'm
watching
just
the
showing the
Batman last
game.
night.
I'm just showing the game that I was chatting to the guys about. It's called Rock and Roll Racing.
Never heard of
No.
it. Wow.
Mate, you
That's
basically
old
have
as
to.
shit.
Mate, I have to. It is older shit. It's like 1993. But look, if I show you the graphics, it's so sick.
That's Prime Mega Drive 2, that is. Or no, Mega Drive
No,
1.
look.
Might be
So it's
Master
like-
System.
You like?
Are you sure that's not the Master System?
Yeah, that's old. That's Master System, or even that's Commodore 64.
No, it's
Yeah, it's not
definitely not
Commodore
Commodore
64.
64, mate. But it is. It
I
is
think
Mega.
it's Master System.
It is Mega Drive, and it was so sick.
I think I got my Mega Drive in 95, 94. No, the Saturn and the PlayStation came out in
So cool
95.
'cause you build up your
So I must have got a
cars,
Mega Drive in 93.
you fire
Nah.
missiles, and then you have to save up enough money, and you meet this alien dude. He's like, "Hey, so you want to leave the planet?" And you're like, "Yeah." How much funds you got? And then it's like, you have to, every race you win a certain amount of money, and you can either save up the money or you can do up your cars. But once you've got enough money, you can leave the planet, and then you can go on to higher races, and there's bigger bad guys and crazier weapons.
I got
and...
something to bring up.
Sick.
Next topic, long legs.
Yeah, nice.
So yeah, we had very different experiences. I went to a normal cinema where the screen was massive, and filled my view of vision, and it was tense, not terrifying. That's just talking bullshit. It was so well. I thought it was so well done, but it wasn't executed. Something was lacking. I don't know what it was, but visually, if you ignore the plot and you ignore the point of the film, visually every scene looked amazing. So well shot, well positioned, composed.
We're going back down the Nicholas Winding Refn route, where it's style over substance, is what we said.
A little
Yeah.
bit.
Where, yes,
Did
it
you
does
get
look
the point
amazing.
where, like, I didn't know why it was called Long Legs, because I mean, yeah, Nicolas Cage isn't exactly short, but why is it called Long Legs?
Just a random word. They could have called it
The
like
scene,
pink
the scene
trousers.
No, I've done
started
some research.
here. You couldn't see his eyes, and it was from a child's point of view, and he went, "Oh, do you want me to bend down? I must have brought my long legs today." And he was like that. And it's like, woo.
And then
I
it
think from my review of it, people calling it the next. For me, what it was a mixture of not stolen, but like
heavily influenced by
heavily influenced scenes between The Shining for the panned out room views, which were like extreme, and also obviously Silence of the Lambs, because the whole brand new FBI agent, Clarice or whatever she's called in Long Legs, with the weird fascination to the killer, has a weird fascination to her.
Well, she said
same with
it was
Hannibal
pitched.
and her.
She said it was pitched as the new sort of
And then they had the scenes that are underground or in the basement that were very much like Buffalo Bill.
And it was
it didn't have the moths though.
I just think Nicolas Cage's character was really good, but not in it for very long, and appeared kind of weak at the end. And then the thing that completely lost me.
Don't give any spoilers. Nothing too major.
But this is a spoiler. Let's go quiet for 30 seconds. Was when it went supernatural, and I was like, no, I'm out.
I think everyone knows it.
And the fact it finishes with no real ending. I'm not a fan of any films that just finish without a real ending.
Watched the trailers, did you? It was very obvious it was supernatural from the trailers.
I did
No, I didn't watch them.
It was like
I did some research though, guys, because I was really fascinated about why it was called Long Legs, and it really feckin' annoyed me. Because at one point I thought it might have been to do with like a minotaur, because like they've got like
no, I just thought it was because he's tall.
No, I know, but hear me out. There's actually I read some things on that was quite fascinating. To be honest, I thought it could have been called Screwball Scramble Brain Dolls, but that's obviously not quite as interesting. But it makes sense when you watch the film. Do you remember the Screwball Scramble game?
Oh god,
yeah,
with the metal balls. That's what's inside the dolls. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying
those metal balls.
And that's why
me and Drew both said the same thing afterwards. Why did she walk into that room with only 3 bullets in her gun and aim to shoot one bloke twice and her mum after letting the guy murder his wife when she could have just shot the bloody doll in the first place?
But I got the impression that at that stage she was dead. The mum says to her, she's already dead. So there's no point.
Okay, but hang on. So, jumping off that,
it went down some
Wait, but that something that James said is actually in connection to why it's called Long Legs, which I think is quite clever and genius. If this is something that somebody else has done research on, it's not necessarily the reason, but I thought it's pretty good and it's very clever. So they're like, why do you think it's called Long Legs? And they said, in doing a bit of research, it's a hint at Daddy Longlegs as he plays a father-esque figure to the main character, the Nicolas Cage character, right? And then, but also the way in which he murders his victims, he uses the dads, which I thought that's so clever.
Thing is, though, I'm not a fan of a film I have to be Googling bloody references
afterwards.
No,
I get it.
Like,
I don't mind that. I don't mind stuff that's got hidden stuff that makes you...
I don't
mind that if the film's really good. If the film ends and I'm like, that's amazing, yeah, brilliant. If it ends and the whole cinema looking at each other like, what's just going on?
This is really interesting as well. They've done a lot of research on daddy longlegs and different kind of insects. And there's different names for daddy longlegs, which I can't remember at the moment. But normally they're drawn to spaces in basements, and they say that's where Nicolas Cage's character is creating the dolls, which is really interesting.
Okay.
It's really interesting.
Doesn't make the film any better for me though.
No, of course.
I feel like
right before I think we've both gone on extremes in the sense that we're all excited to see it because there was a hype. And we're all disappointed because the hype was too much. I
Or it
think
didn't
if
live
the
up to it,
hype,
yeah.
I think it is 80. I'm going positive. I think it was 80% as good as the hype. And I think if there was no hype, you'd love it. You'd have loved it more. You would have had a different
Well,
opinion.
do you know what? Can I just say real quick? Sorry, the people we were sat next to, the guy said this has been advertised so well. Like I've never heard an audience member say that to me in my
Yeah.
entire cinema life.
It's had a
He
really good
said it was
marketing run.
so well advertised, right? And even in the way that it was cut together, it's so intriguing.
Didn't give
the fact
anything
that
away.
they never showed his character.
Good.
They had that bit where he's got his hands covering his face. They didn't even use Nicolas Cage. Yeah, that's brilliant. Use that as the still. Didn't even have him as his name isn't on the poster, so they kind of did a 7, right? Which I thought was very clever, even though there was rumors that he was in it. And that's kind of put me off. I can't remember my train of thought. And oh shit, the bed.
I know how to compare it. Like, and this is a bit of a random one.
Zodiac
It's
as
more
well.
about characters. You
Wait,
know,
wait.
like the rubbish.
Kevin's got his long
You know
leg.
the rubbish set of Star Wars films with Darth Maul and everything.
Yes.
Right. Know how good Darth Maul was a character. You know, Darth
He
Maul
was
one of the
brilliant, though,
greatest
yeah.
characters in any Star Wars
he's
franchise.
easily
Right?
the best.
Is
Yeah.
he?
He's
He
one
wore
of
the
the
red
best.
earring.
Yeah, but what did they do with him? They ruined his character, killed him off easily.
Yeah, they gave him one fight and weakened
Longlegs
him.
could have been an amazing serial killer that they could have had a series of films off.
Yeah, but he
True.
was.
But they just killed him off like in 5 seconds.
Yeah, but he was. They could do a prequel because he's killed so many
True.
people,
But
and
because
we're at
this
the end
film,
of his journey.
I hate to say, I think this film's going to flop. I don't think they will make a sequel.
Well, it hasn't.
Wait, hang on. No.
Literally hasn't.
Can I just say, I think Kevin's right. Imagine a prequel to this film, right? And
Maybe
maybe
have Nicolas Cage in it either.
exactly, you can have a younger guy that looks similar to him or whatever it is, but you could have him writing all these letters and how he gets into it and why he becomes possessed by Satan and stuff. Like, I think that I'd watch that.
I thought it
I'd
was really. I thought lots of it was really clever until it was fully given away, and then I lost interest.
Well, the thing that upset me was oh fuck, what was it that upset me? Oh yeah, it got really weird. Like when I was saying to James, I turned to him at one point and said, "Why does this feel like the director or writer loves Blade Runner?" So in Blade Runner, they have to go in and have like a meeting, and they have to explain their sense and state, and they have to state their emotions and everything, right? At one point, you've got an FBI agent, and she's being tested on paintings and numbers.
Yeah, they
and
have
in real
to do
life,
that. They have to do the Rorschach test all the time because they're being exposed to the worst of humanity, and they have to make sure they're psychologically okay to continue their job.
Oh, really? So they do that?
Yeah,
I didn't know
that's,
they did that.
That's real.
I mean, I'm not an FBI person, so I didn't know.
They do
Wow,
it in
okay.
the police, not the Rorschach tests and stuff like that. But if you've gone to a car accident,
Yeah.
the next day, well, in the last 10 years at least, the next day you're not back on duty. The next day you're seeing a psychologist.
Can we just be clear?
Make
The
sure you're
current
okay
box
before you can go
office.
back to work. Every time you see some death,
That's fascinating,
have
though.
to
So
see someone.
it's to check their mental state to see that they're
this
still
is
okay.
based in the 90s, so whether that was true in the 90s or not, I don't know.
Yeah, and it
didn't
that's what.
look
Okay,
like
I'm going down the extremes here, but the box office for Longlegs is $22 million.
That's not bad for a horror.
That's
A low
terrible.
budget horror. How much does it cost to make? That's huge profit, mate.
About 10 million.
Well, that's quite a lot.
So they've doubled it.
That's
Just
a lot.
to go to the extremes of as far as what I'm saying is, this is the extremes. What people will go to see. Inside Out 2,
Yeah, we can't.
1.3 billion.
Can I just say, yeah, I'm using my catchphrase.
But
So, Kev, the thing,
you know how I
With-
bang on about A24? This is Neon. Neon's like A24.
yeah,
They give
man.
people money and say make it. And the point
get
is,
me wrong.
if we don't allow these companies to exist, we'll be overrun by Paramount
Marvel.
and Universal.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
that
not
only-
saying they're not good.
that
I'm
only
just saying,
make
do they warrant
Marvel
a
films
sequel?
and bullshit stuff that are going to make millions and millions and millions. You
you know what?
these
Kev's
creative
absolutely-
companies.
Kev is bang on the money. If we don't allow these kind of films to exist, we're never going to get experimental,
Yeah.
abstract.
And that Long Legs may have only
unique
made
film.
10 million. That's a profit.
Yeah.
The next
Yeah.
film they make they might be given a 20 million budget because it was so good.
Without
The
get
thing you've got to
40
bear in
million out
mind
of
is these small companies have to make a film, but they have to make it absolutely banging, which I don't think they do.
That's why they put a lot of money into the marketing so people show up. put it this way: I saw from your
Yeah, it was
video,
very
you guys
well.
at the cinema, you had people in that, and you sent a picture of
Packed out.
of Drew going, "Should we book it because there's only 2 spaces left?" Pretty much.
Yeah.
I've been to the cinema 4 times this week. This week I've been to cinema 4 times. Thursday,
Actually-
MaXXXine. Friday I saw Longlegs and In a Violent Nature. And on Sunday I saw Despicable Me 4. Even Despicable Me 4, there was more people in Longlegs than all of
Thrown
us.
out there, Kev, as far as false advertising goes, the cinema me and Drew went to was nearly empty.
Was it?
And they said it was nearly full, sold out, yeah.
Oh.
No,
It was
no,
like
no,
not
when
even
we were there,
half.
mate.
But
No,
okay,
mate,
I
it
still
was-
stand
it
by
was
my
full.
point. I was physically in the cinema with 2 long legs, and it wasn't
2
full,
long legs.
but I was in the cinema for long legs, and there was easily double the amount of people in long legs than there was for Despicable Me 4 on Sunday. It was
Yeah.
popular.
Well, mate, same as like upstairs. I don't know how busy the Despicable Me's were, but everyone was going down into the basement into Screen 5 to watch Longlegs, and they couldn't believe that it wasn't on a bigger screen, and neither could the management of the cinema. They're like, "Why isn't this film on a bigger screen?"
Like, I'm not saying these companies shouldn't get. They should get what they deserve, but they should get also. They know they have the pressure. If someone said, "Oh, Longlegs 2 is coming out in 8 months' time," I'd just wait till it was on streaming
But
because I wasn't like
Ooh.
overwhelmed
So,
with it. I'd be like, "I'll just wait."
Drew, to your point, what time did you go, and what day did you go to see Longlegs?
6:30 on a Friday.
I mean, kids are not going to the cinema 6:30 on a Friday to see.
No, but what we're saying is
That's
like
Sunday morning job. that
it
one.
was
No,
sold
but we're saying
out.
that. But no, we're saying that's a
Sold out, but it
wasted.
was not sold
I
out.
know.
We're saying
I
that
get
that's
it.
almost a wasted point, because if children are going to see Despicable Me, we were saying from the hours of 6:30
From 9 o'clock,
10,
why is it not on?
yeah,
big
why
screen?
isn't it on bigger screens? Because you've got all of the 11 till 4 to have children enjoy their movies while it's kind of daytime,
That
and
is a
then you
joke.
just
That's
switch
not
it.
cool.
You switch it out, because guys, let's be honest, it's not difficult to switch out some of those like film reels and just go,
What
right, guys.
kids are going to cinema at 9 o'clock at night?
But also, the kids could watch Despicable Me on Screen 5. It feels like being in a living room. It's perfect for them. It's atmospheric.
Yeah.
We wanted the full screen experience.
But I mean,
But I think these it's what goes back to what Matt
The
Damon
long
said a
legs
couple
look
of years
short
ago.
in the screen we were watching. It should have been called Short Legs.
It
Where
goes
the
back
hell
to
are
what
your
Matt
legs?
Damon said. If you're going to make one of these films where, like you said, you're never going to get another Reservoir Dogs, you're never going to get another Pulp Fiction, you're never going to get another Crow, a Usual Suspects.
Well,
They
you are
won't
getting
exist
another Crow,
anymore.
whether or not we want
Well,
one.
But those films don't exist now because
you will
movie.
of this generation.
He said they never will, and he's got a good point.
No.
And the point he made was there's no after-sale market anymore, so you
I get
have to do well at the cinema.
But yeah,
If you don't do well at the cinema, you're done.
but he's also on about revolutionary and pushing the boundaries type movies as well. And every generation has it. You can't say this year alone, there's been tons of films that have pushed the boundaries.
Name a few.
Well, Longlegs will be one of them. It's not the equivalent of that, but Longlegs.
But name like 2 other ones, just out of curiosity.
Dream Scenario, another Nicolas Cage film,
Oh, yeah.
was immense. And we're not talking.
No,
We're not talking financially because Reservoir Dogs didn't make much money, and Pulp
but it made tons aftermarket.
Pulp Fiction
Yeah.
also did not make much money either.
But they made tons aftermarket. There's no aftermarket now.
Well, they probably get paid a lot
Well,
to go on
but
Netflix
there's-
and Prime and shit.
It's so small compared to what they used to get paid for video and
And
DVD
it's hard
sales.
to
Like,
track
so
that specific.
fractional.
I get it. But the point still stands. Each generation, before the 90s, before you talk about Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, you're going to be talking about fucking E.T. That's changed the world. They're never going to make another E.T. Well, we made
Yeah,
500 more.
but that was back in the day where you couldn't really watch films.
You're talking about
Like you had a rubbish TV, you had
Charlie
a rubbish
Chaplin,
screen.
people dangling from clock towers in black and white. Like, oh my god!
But now, the thing is, now though, that's what I'm saying. The cinemas and the theaters rely 100% on doing well at the cinema. If they don't get their money back from the cinema release, they're stuffed.
Yeah,
They can't release like unless Netflix pay for it or Prime pay for it. Like A43, whatever they're called.
24.
They can't release
It's
A24. They can't release a film that is a complete failure at the cinema because it could completely bankrupt.
A24 have got really good after sales. If you go on their website and they advertise it a lot on
Yeah.
social media, like MaXXXine came out, then they teased all this stuff about MaXXXine, so they alone pushed that film.
Well, they might be
and then
an
it's
outlier,
the week
but in
before-
general, like
A week before, they were selling the MaXXXine jackets for like 90 quid and a t-shirt.
okay, they're an outlier then. But if you look at Disney with Black Adam, they messed up with that. They lost $100 million.
No, they messed up.
What
because
movie
it's a
studios
shit
can afford to
film.
lose $100 million?
What IP is Black Adam? Who's that film for? Who's going to see Black
Well, exactly,
Adam?
but who would go and see who would go and see Reservoir Dogs
Who's
if like
heard
you've
of
never
Black
heard of anyone
Adam?
in that?
Yeah, but it's a comic book. You go because that's that hero I like. I'll go and watch the film.
Yeah, but what I'm
No
saying is
one's
you're
heard
not
of
going to
Black
get someone
Adam.
taking the risk anymore. Apart from your A24 films, whatever, no one else is taking the risk.
Good. I'm glad they exist.
But that's why we're saying that's how important A24 is, James, because if people aren't taking risk, A24 are, and even if those films bomb, at least it's planting seeds for independent filmmakers.
I mean,
to
all you
go,
have to do is look
"I
at
need
the
to get
top
a film
100
made."
films of all time on IMDb. Like 3 are from the
Yeah,
last
but
20 years.
Also, a lot of these big filmmakers are paying attention to that because, who was it? I'm going to get it wrong, but I think it was someone huge like Steven Spielberg who was it Steven Spielberg or Ridley Scott? One of those big guys said that one of their favorite films was Civil War, which was an A24. It was one of their biggest budget films, but it was still low budget compared to films. And he said that was one of his favorite films he's seen in many years, especially Jesse Plemons' performance.
When he
I mean,
wasn't
don't
even
get me wrong.
supposed to be in it.
Most
has
things now
inspired
are.
him to do something different in his next film, he said.
I mean, A24 are one of them companies, and whoever made Longlegs, because everything else is a
Neon.
remake, a prequel, a sequel, or it's in the
That's
same
why we need
universe.
these people because
Yes.
I would rather go see an A24 film that I don't know the plot of and it's hit or miss
Absolutely.
than see Marvel 79.
This is what I mean. I'm not saying they shouldn't do it. I'm saying the reason why people don't do it is they can't afford the risk.
Caveat.
Whereas A24 obviously can.
Caveat. I
But
don't want to
actually,
see
James has
Deadpool
hit something
massively.
there. This is why more and more things are becoming franchises and cash cows, because you've got a fan base from 20 or 30 years ago. So if they release the film with their characters, hence Bad Boys, you get a bigger response because you're bringing back nostalgia from times
People
when
are
films
scared to do something unique, and it's bullshit.
Exactly, they're scared.
That's what I'm getting at.
But I'm all here for the nostalgia. That's different. I think that's slightly different than doing the 500th Marvel film. That is
No, I get it.
cashing
I
in
get
on an IP that, well, until last year, really hasn't gone stale.
But this is actually why I think, going off the back of that, Kev, this is why I think the Deadpool and Wolverine is going to do something very clever, because actually taking the piss out of the IP Marvel thing, because they're going to, you can tell in the trailer when he goes, "I am Marvel Jesus." So already he's taking the piss out of Marvel.
Wait
when
a second.
they go back through the different time sequences, you can just tell that Deadpool is going to absolutely fuck with the systems
Also,
and setup.
Did you see today they released one on the official Deadpool Wolverine page? So obviously that bit. So you know how Deadpool and X-Men are not technically in the Marvel universe of filmmaking. They're in Universal, I think. They are now.
Oh no, it's 20th. It's 20th Century
20th
Fox.
Century Fox. Well done, yeah, because they got that in the clip, haven't they? But,
and it's on its side. It's half covered in
like dystopian shit. They're fighting in front of it with Sabretooth. But anyway, the Deadpool thing. They have officially been granted part of the Marvel universe. So as of today or recently, X-Men and Deadpool are part of Marvel, and they got asked today in an interview, now you're part of Marvel, can you see yourself appearing in the next Avengers movie? And Hugh Jackman was like, Ryan? And Ryan went, yeah. Ooh. And they just made noises for like a minute.
I don't think they want. I don't think they want
to give a shout out to Spudman, because Spudman has special Wolverine Deadpool jacket potatoes out right now.
I don't know what you're saying.
What?
Spudman, you not seen him?
Don't know what you're saying.
The jacket potato sales guy.
No.
What are you smoking?
Have you? Where have you two been?
The guy I saw Ryan Reynolds
with the pink hair,
going to
absolute legend, Joe.
Going to a Spud place to have some lunch during a press tour.
Wait! He shapes potatoes so that they're like
Wolverine he sells characters. Jacket potatoes, but he's like really famous.
That will be what.
How
what
can you be famous?
Sense. Yeah, that Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds doing a press tour, and they were speaking to people, shaking hands.
Yeah,
and they walked away, and they just went to like one of those caravans that sit in festivals that sell stuff.
He's got his boxes are actual like branded Deadpool Wolverine boxes. He's that famous. He's got a deal with him.
Yeah, they've gone so obscene with it. Deadpool was everywhere today and yesterday. They're siding with everyone. They're with KFC, another chicken brand, another burger brand, a McDonald's.
Very much Spudman, Drew. If you've not heard of him,
I'm going to check him out after this.
You should check him out. It's ridiculous.
I think you should name one of his potatoes Hugh Jacket Man.
Drew.
You missed it. Come on. You missed it. In the last episode, you didn't have any bad dad
We
jokes.
need to
Come
give
on.
a shout out to the Spudman and tag him in this, by the way, because he's an absolute legend.
Yeah, let's do it, man. I'm down.
Well
I'm
done
down.
for cooking the easiest thing to cook possible with the highest grossing margins. Well done.
Wow.
Or just mug him off completely.
Yeah. That's what we do.
Why do
Shout outs. We always fuck them
This
off.
is what we do. We absolutely shit on each other's shout outs.
One of my favourite places to go in Chester.
Mate, I'll make a video of that. I'll make a video.
When
I'll
you
have a
guys realise
shout
he's got
out.
like 5 million subscribers.
Mate, I'll do a it's a shout out, and there's a massive turd just lands on the thing for the video.
Well-
Shout out.
Well, I assume it's not just in Chester. I assume it's all over the UK. But there's a place in Chester called Chipped, as in chip, with an apostrophe D. Like you've been chipped.
It's all right, boys.
So-
He's only got a small following. Just 3.6 million people.
Cool. So yeah, with
Fucking
Chipped,
idiot.
they've got in the windows.
Tag him, though. Tag him.
Is just sacks and sacks and sacks of potatoes, and they just pretty much sell chips. You walk in and get a portion of chips. They just
you Jack with the right runners are coming.
yeah, I've seen that.
Can't just put
We can't hear this, so put it away. It's pointless for the podcast anyway. But yeah,
Right,
this
Reynolds like
chip-
put it on my Disney
Shut
account
up.
at the end. You shut
in
up.
this chip shop, they just have sacks
Shut
of
up, Meg.
potatoes, and you walk in and go chips, and they just chuck a potato in this thing, and it just chips cooked. There you go, and it's like
Straight away.
it's like £7 for a portion that I pay for, and it takes them 5 minutes, if that, from potato to glorious chips. So cheap.
You think if
It's
you
like
had
the cheapest, biggest margins for like food?
Where's this place?
It's in Chester, but I'm sure they're all over the place.
Yeah, but they fund terrorism and they're Nazis, so I can shit on your promos too as well.
do you
Well,
think
Well, except they don't.
do you think it should just be if it was like chips and then it's just like on my shoulder and there's just someone's shoulder there with just a chip on it and that's the advertising.
Everybody,
That would be memorable.
everybody, if you didn't know, Drew is back. Any-
Hopefully they missed me.
Before
I don't
we
know.
end, I need to mention the other film I've seen, and I won't go into detail because I think James would kill me. But on Friday, I saw a double feature. I saw Long Legs, and then I went at home and for 2 hours, and I went back out to the cinema and saw In a Violent Nature.
Oh, do you know, I want to hear the spoilers now. I just want to hear
I'm
them.
not going to tell you. It's the biggest complaint I've heard, and I posted a video about it, and everyone's going, "Oh, it's not as good as I thought. It was a bit shit," and "Oh, it's just like a computer game." And
Sounds awesome.
I disagree with everyone because in the trailer, you know, you're following the guy from behind and you don't see his face. That is maybe 70% of the film, and it's so cool and it's so atmospheric and it's so tense. And there's no music, there's no score, there's no doo-doom, doo-doom, doo-doom,
Oh, really? There's nothing to it?
nothing.
Wow. Just what, leaves breaking or something?
That's what makes
Wow.
it the coolest.
Ooh,
The opening's
that is like a video game.
yeah, but it's not at the same time. I get what people are saying, but no.
Imagine if you move like this. And then at one point, he's just spinning with his arm in the air. Like when someone plays COD for the first
Walking
time.
into a tree and still doing that anyway.
Still
Yeah.
walking.
No, but
Or talking and being like, hello,
so the point of this one
I'm Steve.
is this guy is basically a supernatural being brought back to life because someone stole something off his grave and he's got to get it back, and everyone in his way gets
Classic.
it's
Cheesy horror, yeah.
that. So the premise is weak. It's irrelevant.
Someone stole his iPad.
It's a Friday the 13th.
Someone
style.
nicks his Duplo.
It's so the point of it is literally brain dead, I'm murdering everyone. That's the plot. That's it. But when you watch Friday the 13th and stuff, you're watching kids in a campfire or a cabin hanging out, having fun, drinking, and then all of a sudden a big knife comes and you get a shock.
M. Knife Shyamalan.
There's zero shock in this film because you're watching the killer, and you know how all those scenes in those slasher films, you're like, they've been running for like a mile. 10 minutes later, the killer who walks really fucking slowly appears, and you're like, how the fuck? This explains it because he's just walking all the time. He never stops. There's like
You
nothing
just
that
said
stops him.
kids in a campfire. Did you mean kids by a campfire?
Whatever. There's kids by a campfire and he appears, but there's
Fine,
like
that's fine.
there's no extreme tension because he's always there walking towards someone. He just doesn't stop. And then there's a couple of scenes where he does stop because he's witnessing something and he's taking it in. And as soon as they disperse, he just goes, well, that one's closer, and then fucks them up. And the kills, the first couple of kills, you don't really see. You see something really disgusting, but not really. and then he walks past, and you get a glimpse of what the aftermath. It's like, oh, but the third kill, it's really violent and it's really drawn out. I won't tell you what happens, but it's severe. And
Well, I'm going to try and find it on pirate copy again
What-
tonight, because now it's out in England. I might be able to find
please,
it.
you'll love it. The third kill is so violent, and it's not like dead, done. He plays with the body basically, and he drags it around, and
Like a
it
cat.
takes it away, and it does other things.
There's a Punch and Judy show.
No, it's
That's the way to do it.
worse. The fourth kill is the most interesting and unique kill I have seen in a film. Full stop.
It's the yoga one, isn't it?
The
yoga.
yoga one. Don't say if you know.
No, I don't. I just heard. I remember
What the
your
hell?
review.
Yeah.
I watched Kev's thoughts, guys. It's really good. Well worth it.
Holy fuck.
Kev's thoughts.
And again, none of it's scary because you're with the killer. You're hanging out
Well,
with the
slashes
killer.
aren't scary, are they? They're just like
Yeah,
shockers.
but even like some of them can be because the kills come out of nowhere because it's just people having fun, then murder. But this
When
one,
you say you're
you
with,
know it's happening, so you're not scared. You're just like, let's go for a
when
walk
you
with
say-
murderer.
when you say you're with him, like, and he kills and stuff, does he then come home and like wash his hands and have a bowl of cereal, or like, is it just?
No, he's dead. He's a dead man. He's wandering around killing. He's got no need to breathe, eat, do anything. He is a one-mission
Oh.
killing, which is
Oh,
why
okay. So
when
it's
people-
supernatural. Okay, yeah.
when
yeah,
he's
yeah.
far
Okay.
away, and you think, well, how can he get over there? It's because he's constantly walking, and by sun up, he's in your face.
Wow.
And it's
So if he had a Fitbit, he'd really get his miles in. He'd really get his steps in.
he's not quick. But
He'd probably get free Vitality healthcare, because if you get a certain amount of steps on that,
Exactly right.
yeah, it's good. The only time he stops is when someone's telling a ghost story about him, so he's listening and paying attention. And
Oh, really? He's got an ego. He's like, yeah, that is me.
Yeah,
No, that's not correct.
It's not
that's
like
not
that.
correct.
It's literally you're just standing. You can see from behind his ear. You know he's gross, but you don't see his face for ages. But yeah,
That sounds. I think Max is going to love this. Do you remember when Max said he's always fascinated by characters that you don't necessarily know why they're doing what they're doing, but also when you can't see them,
yeah.
it's just.
Well, you do
the-
know why
the
he's
back-
doing it a little bit. Well,
I guess yeah,
You
because
do,
of
but not.
yeah the premise, but I mean the idea that you don't physically see
yeah. And I
his
suppose you
eyes, or
don't
he's
know
wearing
why
a
it's
mask.
Brought back. It's a bit.
Yeah,
It's
it's almost going back to some of the classics in a way. Like someone talked about the first Halloween, where you don't really see much of him; it's just him walking, and
That's
that's
creep-
scary enough.
scary films for me are films where you don't see violence. Things are just like something's
Happening.
impending. That's
Yeah.
like Toy Story.
something creepy like Toy Story.
Well, actually, I'd say The Following is a masterpiece in that, because that is scary as hell.
and The
Have you
Strangers,
seen
the
It
first
Follows?
film.
It follows.
It-
It follows. Sorry.
I forgot to mention that. Long Legs, It Follows. It's the same actor, the actress.
Oh,
whatever you want
yeah.
to say. It's the same girl.
Yeah,
She's incredible. in
that's
that.
what I know her from.
Yeah,
But It Follows
she
blew me
doesn't
away, man.
anything
That was-
like her in that. Like they look like
Yeah.
different people.
Yeah, she looked like, I thought she was the girl from oh crap, what's it called? It's based on a computer game, Far Out.
By the way, shout out to the girl from Beverly
Far
Hills
Out?
90210 that died today.
Oh,
What? Which one's that?
The girl from Beverly Hills 90210.
Oh, Shannon Doherty. I thought you said
Oh.
Beverly Hills Cop. I was like, what? Yeah,
oh.
she was in like
Great show.
I forget. What,
I thought it was jumping back, the girl in Long Legs. I thought that was the girl from Fallout, but they just changed her eyes. But
she
it's
doesn't
not.
look too dissimilar, to be honest.
yeah,
But
Yeah.
the thing I really enjoyed about, well, there's loads of things, and I think the reason I like In a Violent Nature, even though lots of people didn't, is that I know it's a well-torn path, but it's such a unique perspective that no one's done it that well before. And the boring bits are not boring. When you're following him for quite a long walk, when nothing's happening, it's still interesting because it's building up.
Apart from Late Night with the Devil, I can't remember a recent film been that excited to watch.
In the next episode on Thursday, I'll tell you something about from the makers of Late Night with the Devil doing another film. In fact, you probably know. Oh no, you don't. You don't. But anyway, in a Violent Nature, the best bit about it is I don't know how they did it. I don't know if it's CGI or whatever. But you know how, like in what's that? You know, the Terrifier.
Oh, number 3's out
When
soon.
he's carving up bodies and really hacking at people's faces, it's so fake.
Mhm.
Like you know, it's prosthetic.
Practical effects.
Which is cooler than CGI, but you can tell it's a big spongy face he's putting an axe into.
Yeah,
so it's not.
But it's more disturbing, though, isn't it?
I mean, kind of, maybe. But In a Violent Nature does. There's like a scene where he's chopping for a long time, and it's just mush. And I'm talking like minutes, not seconds.
What about the elevator scene and Drive?
Let's stick on this. Oh yeah, elevator scene and Drive is sick, actually. Yeah, that was good. But the best thing about In a Violent Nature is that you do not see the cut. It's not the prosthetics. There's a human there, and he's moving it, and his eyes are looking around, and when it hits him, he's still there. It's not practical. So there must be some computery bits, but it's also not computery bits because you can tell it might be a little bit prosthetic-y.
So they've edited it between the two very cleverly.
There's no
basically.
cuts, there's no blinks, there's no flashes,
Maybe
there's no movements. It looked like you're killing someone. It was the most realistic.
Maybe they did. Maybe they just pushed the boundaries.
It was the most realistic kill. There's one scene in particular where a back is broken and he cannot do anything. He's just there. He's conscious going,
Is that the bear trap one?
Nope. This is even worse. And the guy just has fun with him.
Drew, have you seen this film?
No, I saw a really cool trailer for it.
It's so bad. It's so bad. Yeah, the bear trap one's nowhere near. That's one of the early ones.
No, but that still looks horrendous because basically a guy somehow has got trapped in a bear trap and he's trying to free himself. And the scary main dude has got a massive rock, and then the trailer just has him walking up, and then it cuts.
Yeah,
it's really clever.
That's one of the first ones.
Yeah, but it's tense though. It's so tense because the guy's like trying to get out. It's really scary.
So excited for that movie.
Gets severe. You'll love it. I know James will. Drew, I'm pretty sure you will.
Yeah, that's a pure example of how good a trailer could be.
Yeah, but also, like you said, the concept of flipping the narrative. So being on the baddies side, almost like a computer game in the sense that if, say, it was Grand Theft Auto, but you're playing as Jason.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it's really...
Just to flip that, though, on the subject of trailers, another trailer we saw yesterday where I felt like I'd seen the entire movie is a new one with Michael Fassbender. He's the guy that played Magneto, wasn't he?
Yeah.
You know that one when he goes to the cabin, them two couples meet each other?
No, you're thinking of McAvoy, dude. James McAvoy.
James McAvoy, sorry. And like...
Oh, Speak No Evil.
You watch it, and honestly, I feel like I've seen the whole film.
Yeah,
Speak No Evil.
Watching that trailer.
I'm not even...
It's like, Get Out. When Get Out did the
I'm not excited for Speak No Evil anymore because it does seem too much in that trailer.
I
you know
really
exactly what's going on.
I wonder why they're making trailers like 2 minutes and 40 seconds or 3 minutes and 20 seconds.
But they give away all the spoilers. Get Out gave away the spoilers.
Right, guys, we'll finish in a second and we'll start the new episode talking about trailers because there's quite a few because people are complaining about Gladiator 2 as well because it's like a 3-minute trailer. But what was the last thing I was going to say on In a Violent Nature? What were you saying just before you brought up Fassbender?
It was a bear trap and then the guy walking with the rock and then you said that's at the beginning. You were talking about cutscenes.
That's it.
Like,
So,
guys getting...
So the feedback on In a Violent Nature is that it's boring because you're just watching a guy wander around a lot and then some stuff happens. In theory, if you flip it, like using the flip it term we've used 10 times in the last minute, is that if you think about a normal slasher film, they're boring.
You watch a bunch of teens wandering around, don't you?
Yeah, it's teens either...
They're at a disco, they're at a party.
Having sex, you're dead. Having a drink, you're dead. Doing drugs, you're dead. It's just pointless.
It's about sinning. If you sin,
I'll be right back.
It's pointless teenagers doing pointless things until someone shows up and makes it exciting.
Yeah, it's very clever.
Yeah, so from our perspective, it's all exciting because the boring bit is we at least know what's about to happen. We know when it's going to happen. There's no scares in there because it's not.
So is there not much dialogue?
Premise.
Hang on, because this is interesting. So there's not much dialogue then, because I imagine it's just people saying a couple of things before they get killed.
Well, he doesn't say a word, obviously. You hear other people, and what's great is if the sound is so important. Like I said, there's no score, no music, but it's just him crunching through leaves and jingling like chains occasionally, like as he's walking. James, turn that off. Can't hear anything. James. Fucking hell. Something went loud and I couldn't hear. The thing froze. And you don't hear anything, and then you hear people talking and really quietly, and then they get louder as he approaches, and that's it. That's the tension, is that when voices get louder, you know shit's about to go down.
Yeah.
But that's it.
I wonder how many sticks he broke in the process.
What are you playing, James?
Trying to find a stream of In a Violent Nature.
We'll watch it live. Why not?
Yeah.
It's so good. I must admit, Long Legs was at the bottom of my triple list. MaXXXine was.
Would you watch it again in A Violent Nature? Would you say it's got good rewatchability?
Possibly not.
Oh,
but not as a negative.
That's interesting.
I mean, I only watched Gladiator, the first one, for the second time about a month ago. That's 20 years old.
Have you got horrors that you return back to, Kev? Like you're like, this is my go-to horror.
Definitely
and I love
things
watching
like
it.
Nightmare on Elm Street, the original, just because that is action-packed as well and scary.
Yeah.
It's not just basic. But The Shining, I've probably seen more than most horror films.
I think Scream is my go-to. Like I always go to watch Scream. Scream's so
I've
good.
never been a Scream fan. I think
The dialogue's so good, man. And Wes Craven.
But the strange thing is we're not that dissimilar in age, but I felt like Scream came along when all the good stuff had been done. So that I know it was revolutionary, the first one.
At the time, yeah. The first
rest
one was,
were just regurgitations. There was nothing new
That's
about
the
them.
problem, though, and I think it has become a bit like that. It's just a bit...
But the first one,
like
it was good.
Franchise.
But I don't think it's as good as everyone bangs on about personally.
Have you seen this? But, mate, I if you can, watch Scream 6, man.
I watched
I'd
the
love
new
to
one,
see
whatever
your
that
thoughts.
is.
Did you? Scream?
Whatever number was in the cinema this year. Last year.
Yeah. When he got the shotgun
I don't know.
in the supermarket.
I can't remember.
You don't remember?
It's instantly
Mate.
forgettable again. It was all right.
But that's sad because like the directors were saying they wanted it to be a little bit like Terminator. So like they thought, how cool would it be if this time Scream isn't just using a knife, he uses weapons around him, and that's what drew more audience in because they're like they're breaking the rules that the Scream character normally goes by.
Oh, I don't know.
So to see him with a shotgun like blast a couple of people in a shop, you're like, this is so fucking cool.
Did you see Thanksgiving?
No, I heard about it.
It's the Eli Roth. Is it Eli Roth? No. Yeah. Because you know when Death Proof and Planet Terror came out,
Yeah,
in
he was
between
helping
the two
him.
films, because they were shown in the cinema as a double feature, there was pretend trailers in between that
Yes, I
Eli
heard about
Roth
this.
made up, and one was Thanksgiving because it sounds cheesy and shit, and one of the shots was like a cheerleader bouncing on a trampoline. Then she does the splits, and there's a knife, and something severe happens.
12th of
so
August in the Violent Nature is on Apple TV.
It was so popular that they made a film, and it was one of the biggest horror hits in recent memory.
Wow.
What date, James?
12th of August. You can
not
pre-order
far.
it now. Apple TV.
Apple.
Mm.
That is literally 1, 2, 3, 4 week, 1 month away.
Yeah. And you wonder why people don't go to the cinema anymore.
Yeah, I know, it's dangerous.
Right, let's scoot. And
You boys need to watch Monkey Man as well. That's fucking brilliant.
You're a monkey
I
man.
need to have a wee.
I know. I am in a way.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. This has been Rage Whale. Thanks for listening to Your Movie Podcast.